Do you find yourself in a position where you just started a new practice and there's so much stress and so much chaos that you're like, I am sure I've made some mistakes here? Or maybe you have been thinking about starting a private practice for months and years and you're so scared of the mistakes you'll make. So you're like, I'm not even going to start the practice. You've been procrastinating on that. Well, today I'm going to show you the 7 top mistakes private practice owners make when they start their private practices and what you can do to avoid them. Now, we're going to rapid fire these, okay? But this is going to be so good. Now, the reason why I really want to share this with you is because I started my private practice 15 years ago. That was my first business. And when I started it, I did not know anything, okay? So all the mistakes, well, almost all the mistakes I'm going to tell you about, I made all of them, but I've taken one for the team so you don't have to do it too, okay? So if you're like, I'm so grateful for you, Dr. Una. Just type thank you in the chat, okay? Because I took it for you. All right. So let's look at these 7 mistakes. And you may be tempted to say, oh, my private practice is different, or my condition is different, my specialty is different. I don't want to try, tell you right from the beginning, don't do that. Okay. Don't do that. Okay. Number one. No, and this is a little out of order, but this is the biggest one I see, and that's overlooking marketing. Okay. Like, yeah, I'm a good doctor. I have great bedside manners. All the places where I've worked at, my patients love me. And so I'm going to hang the shingle and they're going to come. This is called a disaster. Okay. So I did that because I was like, I'm Dr. Una. My patients love me. I'm a great pediatrician. Everywhere I go, they're like, Dr. Una, Dr. Una. I hung my shingle. They did not come. Okay. Remember what I said? I've taken one for the team. They did not come. And so if you believe that you're a great physician, if you believe you can offer a great service, then I also want you to understand that that great service deserves great marketing. You're going to build that referral base. You're going to talk to people. You're going to network. You're going to ask people to come work with you. You're going to build that brand. If I may go a little further, you're going to build that YouTube channel so that you're building omnipresence. People can find you everywhere. But this is the deal. When you overlook marketing, it makes the process so much slower and so much more painful, and you will lose a lot of money because you'll be paying for all this overhead with no return on investment. So do not overlook marketing. The second thing is no clear business goals. I have worked with thousands of private practice owners over the years, and this is one of the things that I noticed. There are no goals. I'm going to start the practice, and it's going to be amazing. And in the world of entrepreneurship, it doesn't work that way, which if you're a private practice owner, you are an entrepreneur. And so you're going to have clear goals. Like, this is how many patients we're going to see. This is how much revenue we're going to generate. This is the positioning we're going to have in the marketplace. You may measure that by Google reviews or whatever you want to do. This is what our turnaround times are going to be. Like, you have to have clear goals. So every day when you wake up, you know what you're pursuing. You know what you're inspiring your team to do. You know when you're winning. You know what you need to adjust. Without goals, everything takes longer because there's nothing to hit. There's nothing to accomplish. Mistake number 3, don't have a funding plan. Like, how are we going to pay for this practice? How am I going to pay my bills now that I'm running this practice? I've quit my job, I've started this practice and all of this stuff. And what a lot of people do is they're like, well, the practice is going to pay me and I'm going to pay my bills. No, ma'am, no, sir. Newborns do not pay bills. When you start a private practice, your private practice is a newborn. It is there to take milk, not to give milk. Okay, so it's going to cost you money, not create money for you in the very beginning. Now, the doctors who work with me in the Entrepreneur Business School know that there's a way around this, okay? But for the most part, it is not making you money to foot all your bills and fund your lifestyle. So you want to think, how am I going to fund this? Am I going to get a business loan? Am I going to self-fund, right? Is it going to be a friends and family loan? Like, what am I going to do? When I started my private practice, I self-funded. What that means is at the same time I started the practice, I took up a PRN job at the local urgent care, and I worked quite a bit, right? But I was using that to take care of myself, take care of, any bills that I had and all of those things. So the practice was free to be a practice, and I didn't have to make decisions based on my need for money. I was able to make strategic decisions so that the business grow. Okay. So not having a funding plan, it creates a nightmare because in the beginning, it will not be able to fund your life. A time is coming where it will fund not just your life, but your freedom. But in the beginning, it may not be able to do that. So that's number 3. Number 4, you don't hire, right? Because you're like, I can do everything by myself. But this is the deal. Before you started the practice, you had a job, you were a parent, you were a spouse, you had all these other responsibilities, and now you've tacked on a whole responsibility of being an entrepreneur of a brand new business. You can't bring all those things in and still do everything yourself. That is the fastest path to burnout, especially for a private practice because it's labor intensive. And so you may not need to hire the full complement of staff, but there is somebody you can hire, a VA, a front desk person who is cross-trained as an MA, all of these kind of things, right? But you want to hire, you want to bring people on to help you bring this dream to life, to help you hit the goals that you set, to help you market, to help you do all of those things. Now, to be very clear, you don't have to have the full complement, but you don't want to not have anybody. Guess how I know this? When I started my private practice, um, I did everything. Okay. I had an alter ego who was called Ella, who answered the phone, like, thank you for calling Avenue Pediatrics. This is Ella, right? I answered my own phones. I checked in my own patients. I collected their co-pays. I worked them up and did all their vitals. I saw them as the doctor. I came back and gave their shots as the MA. And guess the most ridiculous part? When I was done, I would then go send their claims to the insurance company. And I didn't do that because I was like, oh, I'm so hardworking. I'm going to do everything by myself. I did that because I was afraid to hire. I was afraid to hire. I was like, how will I manage this payroll and all of these things, right? I did it. Don't do it. Okay. So if you're like, oh, thank you for saying that, let me know in the comments. Okay. Number 5. And then you Google, like, why are you saying this? I'm like, number 5 is we don't delegate, right? The 5th mistake is not delegating. You say, okay, but you talked about hiring. Why are you talking about delegating? Because so many people have team members and they're still doing everything, right? So when you bring the person on, what is this person's role? What are they going to take off my plate? What are the activities they have that will create revenue? And all of these things. So you want to pull your weight and you want them to pull their weight as well. Get things off your plate. And you want to delegate to your team at work. You want to delegate to your team at home. Like, you want to take all the help you can get. Delegate, delegate, delegate. I didn't do this. Okay. I didn't even hire, so I wasn't delegating, but I didn't do that. And at home, I tried to do all the cooking and the cleaning and all this stuff. And yes, you will drive yourself crazy when you do that. Huge mistake. So hire, but also delegate. Number 6. Sixth mistake, don't prioritize collections. Like, don't respect the money. If you don't respect the money, you will go out of business. And private practices go out of business every single day. I'm a very positive person, but I will always tell you this because you can stay in business. You can thrive in private practice, but you have to play by the rules. Your business is an economic sport. Your private practice is a business. It is an economic sport. It's like playing basketball and you're like, I don't care about how many baskets we scored. No, you will care. You will care. Okay. So there are people who, oh, we're not collecting the co-pays. I don't know how to code and I'm not going to code. I know this is a level 4 visit, but I'm just going to make it a 3 because I don't want the patient to have a bigger deductible. And people they owe me money and I still let them keep coming to see me and all of these things. It creates such a cash crunch. Like, it's unbelievable how much financial pressure you can create for yourself if you do this. Respect the money. Do the work. Get paid for the work you do. Do the work and set your practice up to get paid for what you do. Number 7. Okay, number 7 is overspending. Okay, and this tends to be more of a challenge when people get what I call free money. So maybe you got a loan for the practice, or you have a spouse who supported you and gave you a truckload of money and all of that. And they're like, oh my goodness, they build a state-of-the-art practice, like physical location. They hire everybody they need to hire. They buy all the equipment they need to buy and all of those things. Meanwhile, they don't have any patients, or they have 2. The number of patients cannot support what they just created. And before they know it is happening, before they're even really into the practice, they're out of money. That is called a nightmare. Okay. So there's this concept I teach. I teach it a lot in the Entrepreneur Business School. And it's called the pace of grace. Okay. So when you start, you have to spend everything. Spend what you need to spend. Grow your patient base. Spend what you need to spend. Grow your patient base. Spend what you need to spend. Grow your patient base. So that way, the business is paying for the bill. The business is able to support itself. Don't blow through your capital with things that don't matter or things that you're going to need down the line. So spend, yes, but observe the pace of grace. Don't overspend. Okay. Now, this few minutes that we've spent together, if you do the math, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars in savings and lots of headaches that are not there and lots of burnout you don't have to have. And you can actually enjoy your journey as a physician entrepreneur, as a private practice owner. Okay. But these 7 mistakes, I want to 7 mistakes, I want to challenge you to make a decision not to make them. And you can type in the chat, I'm not going to make these 7. Okay. If you're going to make mistakes, find new mistakes to make, but don't make these 7 because I already made them. I already told you about them. Okay. All right. So this is the deal. I want you to audit what you're doing. Take these 7 things, audit what you're doing, and then make some course corrections. That's the whole reason why we do this, not just for you to say, oh, that was so fun to listen to, but we want you to create real change. We'll say, okay, so I want you to take one of the, like, go audit and then take one thing. Like, I'm going to change one thing. I'm going to stop making this mistake, right? Imagine if you stopped one every week or you stopped one every 2 weeks. Like, think about how magical your private practice will be after you do that. Okay. All right. Now, this exercise that you're about to do is what we do every single week in Profitable Private Practice movement. And this is a community of physicians who run private practices who have decided to defy the status quo. We've decided to unsubscribe from all the things that are happening in the private practice world. And we have decided we're going to build practices that are profitable, that have a lot of impact, that create time freedom, that create financial freedom. Okay. You deserve a spot in the room. The investment is less than a cappuccino a day. I want to invite you to come join us. It's entremd.com/movement. Okay. Now, this is what I know. If you take these things that we talk about and you do them, you will become this person who is a really great clinician and a savvy physician entrepreneur. You will run your private practice like a boss. You'll be a vision board for physicians everywhere. And I can't wait to see you do it. Okay. Now I have homework for you. Next video, you're going to watch how to grow a 7-figure medical practice in 4 simple steps. So click on the video and I'll see you there.